Hey guys, it's Saturday evening, and I was kind of scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and found some rusty old tools in a toolbox. I think the guy has it overpriced. I worked it down to $30. I saw some what I think to be 3/4 SK, a bunch in the rusty old toolbox. So I'm gonna take a risk. Looking at the guys. Looking at his profile, not everyone was satisfied. They gave him bad reviews, so I'm a little nervous to go see how bad they actually are. The pictures were kind of horrible, and so I'm kind of taking a risk. We'll see. We're gonna take a ride right now and see if it's worth the $30. It's only about 10 minutes away, so can't lose a whole lot. All right, we scored the toolbox and picked up something else that's inside the toolbox. The guy was a scrapper and does cleanouts. So we're gonna see what's in here. When I looked through it, I was willing to take a chance for the $30, so let's see if we got anything good. All right, guys, we got this big, massive box here from Facebook Marketplace. It's a few days later, and it's loaded. It's very heavy. It's a Waterloo Industries Inc. Toolbox, or at least that's what the data tag says. And it says CG Ant S Portland, or South Portland, which is about 45 minutes from here. I don't know what the CG Ant means, but I think I'm gonna get everything out of the box, gonna get it organized, get it on the table. It'll make it a little bit easier to show, and I can get close-ups of everything. So I'm gonna start by getting everything on the table, and we'll go from there. Okay, this is everything laid out. Definitely think I got my money's worth. There are quite a few things that are just going to be put in the bulk bin, but I want to give you guys a close-up look. Let's start with the stuff that I'm not too worried about. We got some bulk sockets here, no names or just way too far gone. Same thing with some screwdrivers, nothing of any real importance. And we got some miscellaneous stuff down here. Nothing crazy. And some drill bits, punches, etc., etc. So that was kind of the bulk stuff I don't really care about. And we'll start over here. We got this little pocket advertisement screwdriver. Got this Calhawk long Phillips number 2. Got some punches and chisels. I had to look this up. This is pretty neat. It's a Stanley 66-525, and it's a Stanley Hex-O-Matic. It's an automatic nut driver. You can adjust it up or down to fit whatever bolt you want to push in or out, or screw in and out. I just thought that was so neat. Very cool. Never seen this. I'm very excited to have this in the collection. We'll give this a clean up pretty soon. Here are some Dunlap snips of some sort. They've seen some use. Here's an Industro open end wrench here. Kind of neat. It's in inch and 7/8. Here's some putty knives. Maybe we'll clean those up. They could look really nice if they were cleaned up. Here's a 3/4 combination wrench here, Blackhawk. I think this is a Speed Wrench by Craftsman, 7/16. Needs some work to get it back. Got a Stanley stapler, little handheld stapler. Here's a little pump oiler. Might come back to life. Here's a 3/8 no name socket wrench, 1/2 inch, and another 3/8 that's actually broken. All of three of these are seized up, so they're actually probably just gonna go right in this bin here. I'm not even gonna concern myself with them. We have this forged in the USA double box end offset in 7/8 and 13/16. I do not see a brand anywhere on here, but well, we'll take it to the wire wheel at some point. But still nice to have some USA box wrenches there. We have a Speed Wrench. Do not know the brand on that. A Lutz 82 utility knife. A Stanley 299. Here we have a scraper and some brass and a piece of copper to a torch and an ignition switch. That'll probably all just be scrapped. I believe this is a brake tool, like a spring release tool of some sort. And this is by Amco, number 2656, it looks like. Let me know if you guys know if this is a brake tool or not. I know this is a brake tool. And this is a Wizard. It's hard to see, but it is. It's a Wizard brake tool. It's got a little notch here. I don't know if that's factory or if someone cut that out custom, but this would be kind of cool to put on the wire wheel and clean up a little bit. Speaking of Wizard, we have this Wizard breaker bar. That you can see somebody put a bolt and some nuts through and a lock washer, and that's how they've put it back together. It's very floppy, but yeah, don't often see Wizard too much. Although lately I've seen a little bit more. I don't know if I'm going to clean that up. I mean, it's modified or kind of redneck repaired, so I'm not sure. I'm going to get into these sockets towards the end so we can get a closer look. This is pretty neat. It's a snap-on. And I'm trying to get a decent shot here of the number. I'm going to read it to you. It's a snap-on S948 1A. And looking this up, it's a 1960s Chrysler emergency brake tool. So that is very cool. I don't know if I'm going to sell this or not. It's pretty neat. Okay, we got this Cornwell 3/8. This is absolutely seized up. Needs a complete tear down and rebuild. And so that might be a future project here on the channel. Here's where I paid up a little bit. There's that extra $20 I was talking about. This is a snap-on S710. These go for about 50 bucks used on eBay. I paid the additional 20 bucks. It works, but definitely needs servicing. I'm not sure if I'm going to just pass this on to somebody at work or if I'm going to take the time, just service it and then resell it, or service it and keep it in my toolbox. I'm not sure. We'll see. We have another snap-on tool here. Brake adjustment. And this is Snap-on 8353B. Lots of brake tools today. Here we have a little mini grease gun by Henco number 21. I don't have a little grease gun like this. I have a regular size grease gun. So I will definitely be cleaning that, keeping it. A couple of SK bit drivers here. They are both missing the caps. I feel like George from You Wanna Watch just talked about his SK bit drivers that were missing caps. And then I happened to find two myself that are missing caps. So these are 73517. And this one I cannot read the numbers on. But we'll add those to the SK collection. I really do like the long one here. Okay, over here we have I believe a Williams. It's kind of hard to read, but I do believe this is a Williams wrench here. And it says 709. Do not know what size. I believe it's, oh, hold on, let's find out. That is a, man, my eyes are bad. 1.5 inches, I believe, wrench. So pretty sweet. We'll definitely clean that up. That's a very heavy duty wrench. We have two air ratchets here, both in 3/8. They are obviously untested so far. We have a Husky and I don't know what brand this is. TQ. Anyway, we'll get those tested at some point. I'm blanking on the name of this, like a little chisel hammer or something. Pop rivet gun. I have too many of these, so that's gonna go. Another little hammer here. I'm not exactly sure what this hammer's for. I'm sure it's very specific. It was made in Taiwan. And so now we're getting to the sockets. I'm gonna just show you this one here first, and then I'll put the other ones up on a closer, a better view here. Here is a 3/4 Proto and an 1 5/8. So that's pretty neat. The chrome has definitely seen better days, but still 3/4 stuff, especially 6-point. Pretty sweet there. Let's get these sockets, let's get some of this table cleared out and we'll look at the sockets close up. Okay, we got the sockets laid out and organized. Here's some SK Wayne, SK tools. These are 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4 inch. Here we have a Wizard, and this is a 15/16. We have some Crowder, which I don't see too often up here in Maine. Here we have some Craftsman. This is a 32.5 inch, which is nice. 1 1/4, and this is double line V. Here's some assorted Craftsman that need to be cleaned up and saved. Definitely excited to add those to the collection. At first, I was thinking these might have been Craftsman. I thought I had some Craftsman that were unbranded with this same H on here. And I went back and checked, and it's not the case. So I'm not exactly sure what this H is, whose or what brand this is. But these are all 3/4 inch drive. And I don't know what brand they are, but I'll try to do some research and show it on the screen if I can find it. But regardless, it's a pretty decent set. They're made in Taiwan. There is one broken one, and I was hoping it was Craftsman so I could exchange it, but it's always nice to have 3/4. So those are the sockets. Well, that's everything in that little tool lot. I think I got my money's worth. Now I get to sort it and put it into the big boxes of stuff I need to go through later. Okay, new project time. I want to turn this rolling cart here into a portable sanding, wire brush, bench grinder stand. So I think I'm going to use some of the scrap wood I have outside to create a wood base, something I can drill into and lift it up over these lips. So let's go see what we have outside. I'm also going to be using some of these pieces of plywood I got from work. Here's some of the scrap wood that I picked up from pallets and at wood. None of this needs to look pretty. It just needs to function. So we're going to see if we can't get some of that on that table. Okay, to make this as cheap and as easy as possible, I'm just going to use some stuff I got at work. It seems to be that this piece of plywood I got from work is going to fit right on top almost perfectly. So to make it versatile and easy, I'm going to use some of these boards. I'm going to stack them, some of these 2x, and stack them on top of each other so it'll come up over the lip here. And then I'll attach this board to the 2x's, and that should put it just, since it'll be a little bit over, it'll have a little bit of a lip here. But then I can remove this at any point in time if I want to use this cart again for something else. And I can simply just, maybe I'll put some handles on here or something so that if I want to move all of the accessories or bench grinders and stuff very fast just to use this cart for something else, I can place it on another table. So just try not to make it too complicated because it doesn't need to be that complicated. So I'm going to see what we can come up with. This is just, it's not really a plan to it. We're just going to try to wing it and see how it works. All right, using some scrap wood, we got this nice piece of plywood secured down onto this push cart. Now, unless I wanted to cut multiple pieces or buy a piece of plywood, this is the only way I could make this fit, to have a slight little area right here that doesn't match up perfectly on either side, but that's okay. Saves me money. There is a little bit of a bevel on here that I could have ripped off with the table saw, but I just decided to leave it. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to do its job. And yeah, so I think I'm going to give it a quick coat of paint, maybe just some black, and it'll probably take more than one coat. But and then at some point soon, we'll put the tools up. All right, just finished up the second coat on the board here for the cart. And tomorrow morning, once it's dry, I'll start putting some tools on it, hopefully, and put it back in place. Table's all dry, put back in place. Nice and sturdy, level. Well, assuming my floor is level wherever the cart is. And we're gonna take some of these tools and we're gonna try to see where they fit best on here. I do believe we're gonna take this wire wheel or bench grinder with wire wheels and put it on there. And I'm not sure if I'll reuse this base. I'm kind of playing it by ear. So we're gonna try to get those tools up on there, trace out where we want them, and then we'll secure them, and we'll go from there. All right, we got the bench grinder secured down. For the most part, I use lag bolts into the wood, except for right here where I need something a little bit smaller. I use some deck screws. This little bench grinder has some rubber dampers to help with vibration. But all of these are now secure and ready to go. I ran the wires down the middle, and I secured a power strip there and did some wire management. It's not the greatest, but keeps the wires from flopping around, getting caught and stuff. And then I have the male plug down there, which I'll plug into an extension cord, and we'll get this, we'll get some of these running and see if the vibration's too bad. But other than that, it's pretty much done. So, vibration is not too bad. And now I have my bench grinders and wire reel and something portable where I can bring it over to the door and run my exhaust fan and not have to breathe all the crap in. And again, this piece of plywood here that holds these can be removed if I ever want to use this cart again or something else. So I'd say pretty successful for free plywood and some free hardware. Can't argue with that. All right, guys. This year for my father-in-law, I'm going to not do so much of just a regular Christmas gift. I'm gonna actually kind of do a service for him. I'm going to replace his trailer lights on his little utility trailer that he has a wooden box around. He's been missing a light for a few years now, and the wiring's pretty bad. So we're going to, we picked up this little Kennedy trailer 5-piece light kit, and we're gonna unbox it real quick, and then we're gonna go install it on my father-in-law's trailer. I picked this up, this Pittsburgh pistol grip self-adjusting wire stripper and cutter. Now obviously I could just use regular wire cutters, but I have the Quinn version of this at work, and it makes automotive wiring just a lot easier. So yeah, I'm going to share this as well. These are pretty sweet. I don't know how the Pittsburgh one is. We're going to find out. But lifetime warranty, so that's pretty sweet. So yeah, let's unbox this real quick and see what's inside, and then we'll go put it on my father's trailer. Okay, I got the box open, and this is what comes included. You got your manual, some clips, your wiring harness, 2 marker lights, your stop and tail lights, and your left-hand light has your license plate light and a license plate bracket. I've already sprayed down the light that's out there. It has some pretty rusted bolts, so I sprayed it down with some WD-40 about 10 minutes ago. So we're letting that sit for a minute. And while we're waiting, we'll get the tools we think we'll need. This is what I'm going to use for tools. Got some crimpers, wire strippers. We got some crimp connections, which I'm not a fan of using, but that's what I have right now. I wish I had some soldered connections with some marine grade heat shrink around them, but I don't have any of those with me right now. Some side cutters, 3/8 ratchet, zip ties, an 11 mil, which fits both these light bolts and the bolts that are on the light outside. Some heat shrink tubing, propane torch, and my wire strippers. And if those bolts give us any trouble, we'll just we won't ask permission, we'll just send her out by impacting it, and hopefully not round any off. All right, well, we got the old light off of the bracket, no problem. I'll just clean up that little gasket material. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use the original like angle iron. It's kind of hard to see, hold on. The angle iron track they use for the wire. It's so corroded that the wires are literally stuck. So I just snipped off the ends, and we'll have to find an alternative route just for right here. Otherwise, the square tubing for the wire should work out just fine. So we'll follow the original line, which was the connector came up through here, and then they had it wrapped around. But we'll go through here, down, and then we'll come over here. It comes out up here, and then we'll, like I said, we'll have to make some sort of, we'll either have to clip it or zip tie it to the side here, but we'll figure something out. And then we'll split and go to the other side. I'm not sure if we're gonna put the side markers in. We'll see. See if we can't mount those somewhere. Maybe I'll put them into the wood. However, my father-in-law does, he definitely does take that wood out every once in a while. So maybe we'll get some self-tappers, and we'll just screw them right into there. Or we could put it right here. It might even make more sense. We'll see. All right, it's pretty dark now, but for the most part, we're complete. I'm gonna ask my father-in-law if he wants these side markers or not. Because if so, I'll have to do a little bit more splicing and figure out where I'm gonna connect them, but he didn't have them before, so I don't know if he's gonna want them now. We got our lights in. A little bit of wire management up there. I do not like the Harbor Freight heat shrink. It is garbage. I should have expected it, but I may redo these connections, but they're gonna be fine for now while my father does his leaf cleanup for the fall. So, lights are in. Here's that little license plate bracket. He keeps his bracket up here, or his license plate up here. And I'm thinking if we put it down there, it might be a little too low. So if he hits a bump, it might screw something up. So I had to make a ground connection here. I started one here, and I realized they put it down a little too low, so I couldn't get a wrench in there for the bolt and nut. So I drilled a second hole here. And so now that's secure. This is one of those Nylock nuts, so this isn't gonna go anywhere. And I use one of the circle, what do they call it here? I got one up here somewhere. One of these connectors here. So hopefully that's good enough for ground. Unfortunately, I can't test this until my father-in-law comes back up, because my RAV doesn't have connections, and neither does my Honda Civic. So well, hopefully everything's all good. I did tie I didn't really read the instructions like I probably should have. I just figured I had enough general knowledge. I tied the ground into the bolts here for the bracket on either side, so hopefully that works out. So, project down, Christmas gift completed. Hopefully this will be working. And once he comes up and we test it, I'll show it on video. I did have to use a few extra tools here. I used this little grabber tool to pull it down through the square channel there. I used these little hose pliers. I wanted needle nose, but they're at work, to actually physically pull it down the channel when I couldn't reach it. And I need an 11mm wrench for securing that nut and bolt for the ground wire on the tongue. And I did use a little bit of mechanics wire to help pull it through. But yeah, that's what I use for tools. In case you were curious about this wire stripper here, works so nice. You just adjust where you want for length there, strip length, and put it in. Simple as that. These things are awesome. So I just wanted to show that real quick. Well, finished up that project, and what I was left with was these marker lights here. Some of the hardware, which I didn't need, I used my own. And a bunch of wire, which will go into the scrap bin. Probably save some of this automotive wire here, but the older stuff will go into the scrap bin. And of course, when I was doing the heat shrink on the project, I ran out of propane, so gotta go to the shed and get a new bottle of propane. All right, guys, it's Thanksgiving at my father-in-law's house. It's raining out, it's pretty chilly, but I want to put better connections on for this trailer. I really don't like the crimp connections, and the heat shrink that I had before for Harbor Freight is just garbage. So I brought some stuff from work that I purchased, and we're gonna make some better connections, and then we'll test everything. Well, after thinking I was crazy, thinking I made bad connections, and checking ground connections, turns out there's a module right here in this panel for the towing trailer lights assembly, and they took power directly from the battery. So positive wire goes straight to the battery. Of course, I'm looking at fuses that weren't hooked to the battery, or they're in the fuse box. So it turns out all along it was just a 15 amp fuse that was blown on the battery side. So all fixed. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in and checking out what I've been up to this week. We had that nice Facebook Marketplace pickup. We did some projects like the bench grinder, a little table here, and my father-in-law's trailer. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.